America was founded on liberty, equality, and self-determination. These principles are enshrined in the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights, laying the foundation for a society where individuals could shape their destinies, free from oppressive systems. However, over the past century, these foundational principles have been overshadowed by an economic system that prioritizes profit over people. With its hierarchies and systemic inequalities, capitalism now dominates a nation founded on individualism. Let's explore the contradictions between capitalism and America's true ethos, and how we can reclaim the nation's ideals for a fairer, more equitable future. To understand where we are today, we must look back at the ideals that shaped America's foundation, ideals rooted in liberty, equality, and self-determination. The United States was built on Enlightenment principles, which rejected the rigid hierarchies of feudalism and monarchy. These ideals called for decentralizing power and protecting individual rights, ensuring people could determine their futures. Documents like the Declaration of Independence enshrined these values, explicitly advocating resistance to tyranny. The Bill of Rights further reinforced this vision by protecting freedoms such as speech, religion, and protection from unwanted government interference. The founders envisioned a nation where personal responsibility and the right to shape one's life would be protected. But those principles have been tested and sometimes overshadowed by the systems that we've built since. While America's founding ideals emphasized liberty and individualism, the economic systems that developed alongside them have created contradictions. Let's look at how capitalism evolved and where it began to diverge from those principles. During the nation's early years, the economy revolved around small-scale, localized enterprises. Farmers, tradespeople, and artisans had significant autonomy, and capitalism was characterized by its focus on individual effort and community-driven markets. But the Industrial Revolution marked a turning point. Advances in technology and industrial growth led to the centralization of wealth and power, with factory owners and industrialists controlling labor and resources. By the late 19th century, the Gilded Age saw the rise of monopolies and corporate empires. Wealth became concentrated in the hands of a few, creating economic hierarchies that resembled the feudal systems America's founders once opposed. These trends persist today, and according to the Economic Policy Institute, the CEO to worker pay ratio has soared from 21-1 in 1965 to 399-1 in 2021, highlighting the growing gap between the wealthy and the working class. This concentration of wealth and power raises an important question. How can a system built on inequality coexist with America's founding ideals of liberty and equality? America's promise of freedom has always been tied to individual autonomy, the ability to make choices without undue interference. However, under modern capitalism, systemic barriers and pressures increasingly compromise that freedom. Capitalism centralizes power in the hands of a few, creating hierarchical structures that limit individual autonomy. Corporations and wealthy elites wield significant control over resources and decision-making, leaving workers little influence over their economic futures. Beyond economic inequality, capitalism demands conformity. Employees must often align with corporate norms, sacrificing personal values and creativity just to maintain employment. Outside the workplace, consumer capitalism shapes societal norms through advertising, commodifying identity, and limiting genuine individuality. The most significant contradiction lies in the illusion of freedom. Capitalism is marketed as a system of opportunity, but many Americans face significant economic precarity. A 2022 Federal Reserve report revealed that 35% of Americans would struggle to cover a $400 emergency expense. This financial instability traps individuals in cycles of dependency, limiting their ability to make meaningful choices. Looking closely, capitalism's hierarchies, conformity, and systemic barriers challenge the ideals of liberty and self-determination on which America was founded. When we think about socialism, the conversation often veers into misunderstandings shaped by decades of propaganda. But what if socialism isn't the antithesis of individualism? What if it's the pathway to realizing true freedom? Education plays a pivotal role in challenging these misconceptions. A 2019 Pew Research study found that younger college-educated Americans are more likely to view socialism positively. This reflects how education fosters critical thinking and exposes individuals to systems prioritizing collective well-being and equitable resource distribution. Socialism emphasizes equitable access to resources, empowering individuals to achieve their potential without economic constraints. Policies like universal health care, tuition-free education, and workers' rights enable personal autonomy by removing barriers like poverty and healthcare insecurity. The connection between socialism and individualism lies in their shared goal of empowerment. By addressing systemic barriers, socialism allows people to make meaningful choices about their lives, choices often restricted under capitalism. Even historical figures like Albert Einstein argued that socialism reduces inequality and fosters security, creating the conditions for true freedom. So perhaps it's time to reframe socialism not as a threat, but as a continuation of America's founding ideals of self-determination and liberty. Reclaiming America's founding ideals isn't just a lofty goal. It's a necessity. To align our nation with its promise of liberty and self-determination, we must challenge the systems perpetuating inequality and limiting freedom. One way forward is through progressive policies that address systemic barriers. Universal health care ensures that no one chooses between medical care and financial ruin. Affordable education removes barriers to opportunity, allowing individuals to pursue their aspirations. Worker cooperatives empower employees, fostering shared responsibility and autonomy. History shows us the potential of collective action. The New Deal introduced Social Security and labor protections during a crisis, creating a foundation for personal autonomy and societal stability. These bold policies are just as relevant today as they were then. Education also remains a cornerstone for change. By fostering critical thinking and reconnecting Americans with their foundational principles, we can build a society where freedom isn't a privilege for a few, but a reality for all. Strengthening public education and promoting historical understanding equips citizens to challenge entrenched systems. Encouraging dialogue about economic reform and equity can shift the narrative towards solutions prioritizing fairness and individual empowerment. The founders challenged oppressive hierarchies in their time. Today, it's our turn to question capitalism's grip on freedom. Reclaiming America's ideals starts with us, with our voices, our actions, and our commitment to a fairer future. Eyes open, voices loud.